priest, a vicar and a rabbit walk into a blood bank. Stop me if you've heard this one. I've heard it. Oh, of course you have. The rabbit says, "I think I might be a type O." Is that the best you can do? I've ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know which comes first. Wrong delivery. Let me show you how it's done. Did you hear that these days the Secret Service isn't allowed to yell, "Get down!" when the president is about to be attacked? Now they have to shout, "Donald, duck!" Did you seriously bring your own canned laugh? I went to Waterstones this week and I asked the saleswoman, "Where's the self-help section?" She said if she told me, it would defeat the purpose. And this is an improvement? Why can't you hear a psychiatrist when they're using the bathroom? I don't know why. Because the P is silent. That's enough. Any more of that and I'll get banned. We'll get banned. So what am I talking about? This is a Thought for the Day video, isn't it? We are looking at Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken. Oh, I like that poem. Yes, so do a lot of people, it seems. Cue disembodied voice.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth.
That was good. Hey, do you want to hear a joke about a road? Not particularly. Why did the rooster cross the road? Because he wasn't chicken. Why did the chicken cross the playground? Are you done? To get to the other slide. Why didn't the skeleton cross the road? Because he didn't have the guts. My children must feel like this when I won't give over. What do you call a musical chicken crossing the road? Poultry in motion. As I was saying, The Road Not Taken is a classic, well-loved poem that encourages the reader to make choices that might seem less popular. Cue disembodied voice.
I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference.
That is so good. Of course, not everyone agrees with this interpretation. I've heard people say that Frost wrote the poem to poke fun at a friend of his who was always second-guessing the choices he had made. But then again, I've heard other experts say that the choice itself is an illusion, that the purpose of the poem is to teach us that we should never choose. That seems overly complicated. What did Frost say? Well, not a lot. Once, when he was introducing it, he told his audience that it was a tricky poem. But I think it's taking it a bit far to make a poem say the opposite of what it seems to be saying. I find that it is often the simple explanations that make the most sense. Well, I agree. And as with this poem, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. I think it's saying that there is joy in making a decision, even if it is the less popular one. Oh, I know this story. It's one of Jesus from the Sermon on the Mount. It is. Listen to Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 to 14. Maybe you'll spot the link with the poem. You can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. You know, that's rather strong language. There's not a lot of wriggle room. Not a lot. We each get to choose the path we take. The problem is that oftentimes we cannot see the eventual destination. As Frost put it, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. But if you find yourself on the wrong path, you need to turn around. And it doesn't matter how popular the path is. It doesn't matter how comfortable underfoot it is. And if you do turn around and start backtracking against the flow, and you find that people are giving you odd looks, well, you shouldn't let that put you off either. I guess that's true in a lot of situations, not just in terms of spirituality. I think it is. It's too easy to go with the flow. It's harder to chart your own course. It calls for careful thought, wise counsel, and the courage of your conviction. That's good, but I do have one question. Go on. Jesus says the gateway to life is narrow and the road is difficult and only a few ever find it. But lots of people are religious. So how do you reconcile that? I'm not sure that being religious is actually enough. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus talks about people who come in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. I think he's talking about religious hypocrisy. People who say that they're one thing, but in reality they're quite another. So it's what's going on the inside that really counts. I think so. Jesus also talks in Matthew chapter 7 about religious people who use all the right terminology and pull off astounding performances, but he warns them that his response may well be, "I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers." That is so not comfortable. Is Jesus allowed to get away with talking like that? Well, you tell me. The bigger question is, are we on the right road, the narrow one? Well, what advice would you give to anyone pondering all of this? Well, I think a good place to start would be to read the Sermon on the Mount. Now that's found in Matthew chapters 5, 6 and 7. If you don't own a Bible, then no, just Google it. There's plenty of online versions out there. Are we done? I'm done. Are you done? Nearly. Remember, if you're right 90% of the time, why quibble about the other 5%? You do know that I'm a maths teacher, don't you? I used to think I was indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please do hit like. And even better, we would love it if you would share.